I am Keith Telfayan. I'm an expat living in Berlin, Europe. I come from California and New York. I studied film, rhetoric, and philosophy at UC Berkeley. I have an MFA in video art and photography, and now I'm a writer and an artist. And as a writer and artist, I am driven to externalize my inner life and intuitions. I would like to talk about love, a subject that's been on my mind particularly of late, and what I'm attracted to. Now, I'm attracted to all sorts of women, young and my age, and I think about what draws me to youth in particular, um, as it's been coming up in conversation. I think of this movie called The Trip with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, brilliantly funny British comedy. And Steve Coogan says in it, as I get older, I find myself very attracted to youth for its life-giving properties, and also older women because I value personality more. And it's so true, and I love that. And I think about what he means by these two things. Life-giving properties I take to essentially mean innocence and this sort of, wonderful, wide-eyed optimism that young people tend to have, more idealistic. And I think that comes from a lack of corruption, a lack of negative experience. I think essentially we're all a product of our experiences, of course, and it's like a computer. Like the longer you have a computer, the more nicks and dings and eccentricities it develops. It doesn't process the same way. Maybe it has downloaded something bad, whatever. These things happen to our brains. And I mean, this is also why therapy and conversations are so vital, because it helps iron these things out a little bit. Now, this kind of corruption, such a negative way to put it, I know, but this is what gives us such rich, complex personalities in the end, and that's valuable for sure. And it can be incredibly beautiful and whimsical and fun, for sure. But I think when we're dealing with relationships with each other, so much about a relationship is like matching your neuroses together. And the more jagged we get, the harder it is to align that kind of thing. And I think what's so wonderful about youth is that there's so much less jaggedness, it's so much smoother. It's like an eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, it's spotless. It's kind of this blank canvas. And there comes a responsibility with that, because you are essentially imprinting the first pictures on there, potentially. Of course, not the first. Everybody has experiences before they're in real relationships, but I find it exciting and fun and engaging to be around people who aren't so tied down and weighted down by trauma and drama. This isn't to say that young people don't have these things. Of course, we do. When we're young, we gather painful moments, of course, but I think there's more of a willingness to jump into, growing connections with less trepidation, more daringness, more adventure. That's attractive. And I value it. I value experience as well. I value worldliness, and I want to have big conversations about ideas and emotions, but age is not a barrier to that. I think most of us were perhaps at our most vital in terms of an intellectual curiosity and emotional vigor in our youth. And it's important to hold on to youth for that reason. In dating, it's one way. I'm Keith. More next time. Ciao.